Jews are often referred to as the people of the book, but I think we can also be called a people of stories. Storytelling is a part of the fabric of the Jewish religion. We read the Torah every week, completing a full reading of the entire Torah each year. On Purim, we read the Megillah, telling the story of Esther and Mordecai and how they saved the Jews of Persia from destruction. And on Passover, we retell the story of the Exodus from Egypt at the Seder, fulfilling the commandment to tell our children in each generation. And into the modern era, we have continued our tradition of telling and retelling our story through tragedy and joy. Stories are powerful. Our story, the Jewish story, is powerful. This week's Parsha begins with someone hearing a story. Yitro, priest of Midian, heard all that God had done for Moses and for Israel, his people, how God had brought Israel out of Egypt. Then Yitro goes out into the wilderness to meet Moses, bringing Moses' wife, Zipporah, and their children. But what exactly did Yitro hear? God has been pretty busy lately. God brought plagues against Egypt to force Pharaoh to let the people go, split the Sea of Reeds so that Israel could cross to freedom, provided manna as food and a source of water in the desert, and helped them to defeat the Amalekites who attacked them. Whatever he hears, Yitro feels so moved by the story that he wants to go out to meet Moses himself. The biblical commentator Sforno explains that Yitro heard about the splitting of the sea and the successful defeat of the Amalekites, as well as the 10 plagues. But Sforno also offers us insight into how this affected Yitro. He says that when Yitro heard those things, his heart was moved to go out to the desert himself, rather than sending a messenger to bring Zipporah and her children to Moses, because he desired to seek God. The Torah tells us that when Moses and Yitro meet, Moses recounts everything that God had done to Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel, and all the hardship that had befallen them on the way, and how God delivered them. But didn't Yitro already hear about what happened? That was what motivated him to go out to the desert to meet Moses in the first place. Why did Moses need to tell him the story again? Rashi explains that Moses tells him in order to draw Yitro's heart close to the Torah. And clearly it works. Upon hearing his son-in-law's story, Yitro's response is to rejoice. The Baal HaTurim notices that the unusual form of the Hebrew word, translated here as rejoice, vayichad, could also have another meaning, that Yitro's heart united, yiched, with God, and that he became a Jew. His joy reflects his transformation, from a priest of Midian, an outsider, to accepting the God of Israel. Yitro then does something that no one has done in the Torah up until this point. He offers a blessing by invoking God's personal name. He says, Baruch Hashem, blessed be God, who delivered you from the Egyptians and from Pharaoh, and who delivered the people from under the hand of Pharaoh. Now I know that Hashem is greater than all other gods. Moses' story inspires a transformation in Yitro, and it moves him so deeply that he innovates a way of offering praise to God that we use today when we recite blessings. Then, Yitro does what people frequently have done in the Torah up to this point when they wanted to show thanks and gratitude to God. He offers a sacrifice. Sforno says that the sacrifice is a sign of his acceptance of God's sovereignty, and that Aaron and the elders of Israel come to eat with him, to celebrate with him on the occasion of his entering under the wings of Shekhinah, the divine presence. Yitro is a testament to the power of the Jewish story. It spoke to Yitro so deeply that it impelled him to go out into the wilderness to seek the divine. Our stories are remarkable and amazing, recording a unique relationship to the divine and perspective on the world, a history of resilience and adaptability. Yitro can teach us to believe in our story. We need to believe that our story has value and that it has something to teach us and the world. It speaks to the challenges that we continue to face to this day. We need to own our stories and tell them proudly. If Yitro, an outsider, could be transformed by the Jewish story, so too can we.